talk to it. I don't have to type ever again.
You can already talk to Android phones.
Well, the technology still has a long way to go in general, but I think where we all want to end up is you're not having to type an SMS. You see people like beep-boop-bopping on their keyboards all day long, and we just want to be able to talk to our phones. I think they're contextually aware. So if you're in an airport and you open it, it helps you check in to your flight. If you're at TechCrunch, it opens the agenda. If you're at the grocery store, it helps you find the deals. If you're outside, it helps you find a cool restaurant nearby that your friends like. I mean, these are the things where we go through these flows every time. Now I'm opening it. Now I'm typing in my password. Now I'm opening a browser. Now I'm like doing the same things, and we're just wasting a massive amount of time on getting to the thing that the phone should just know we want. I think the last thing is that these are organized around people rather than having like, here's my mail, here's my SMS, here's my photos. As we're adding more and more and more applications, so many of them are about one interaction, which is what's going on with people.
Yeah.
And so I think those are all areas, and obviously the battery is going to be increasingly the bottleneck. I mean, we can talk about processors, but I mean, this thing in there is still.
Well, I tell you, that's why this phone I showed you. Actually, I'm not sure what I did with it now, but I mean, the phone lasts a week. I mean, the battery lasts a week.
It's pretty sweet.
And when I go to dinner with people, I'm talking to them instead of checking in on Foursquare.
Checking via SMS, by the way.
You can?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so this, I can't send SMSs on this. It has the 9 key thing, and I used to know how to do it. I'm like, I can't do it. You got at certain speeds. And
no tweeting from that either? It's like getting your arm cut.
It makes calls. It's great. You talk, and it's fine. I'll tell you, by the way, I was going to tell you this backstage, but this doesn't work with Google Voice. I love Google Voice. I ported my phone number to it. Inbound, of course, works, but outbound doesn't. I think you guys could just do a prepaid phone, sell it to 7-Eleven that works with Google Voice on outbound too. Basically, it's Google software, Android, basically on the phone. I think, sell a lot of them.
7-Eleven, okay.
No, I mean, do you know how many phones these guys sell?
Yeah.
Like dozens a day in each 7-Eleven. No, but seriously, that low end, I think you should listen to my business advice. You guys, so I'm trying to wake you guys up, and it's just not happening. So what I'm going to do is, I was saving this for the first time you made me mad, but I'm just going to cue this now instead. Dan, are we good? So wait, hold on one second. So you had Conan O'Brien, and for some reason you started dancing with him, and so I honestly, we could just play the whole interview, which is about 45 minutes or something. But let's just play the best part and make sure the sound is really turned up. Let's wake everyone up a little bit. And full screen that. This is a great moment for you.
Okay. I like it.
Did you say a family member didn't believe that and thought that you were photoshopping him in?
It was actually a party that I went to where a neighbor came up to me and said, "Hey, I watched that video. That was really funny, but you got to tell me, was that a CGI trick? How did they make him look so small?" Yeah, well, from my perspective, yeah, he's really that tall.
Were you standing right next to him in that video?
Yeah, he's like 6'6" or something. And,
wow.
Yeah.
No, we don't have to do it again. Although that dancing bear thing we were looking at earlier might be fun too, but we'll save that only if this gets really down. All right, so let's do one other thing, and then let's go into questions. We have some phones to give away. So we've got.
Do we get them?
Pardon?
Do we get them?
Well, I didn't bring one for you because you have a great Android app. This is the Sprint EVO. Has what, it works for a month, and then you have to get your own service. This is one you gave away to IO.
Yep.
I can give it to you instead of the crowd. Would you like it?
Yeah.
Okay, here you go. But Chris, we did get an extra one for you because you guys are so bad on the Android. I thought you guys should at least have one device back at the office to be able to develop for it. So maybe this will help you get them.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm cool.
Okay, but
you should give it to the audience.
Okay, but please make a better app for. Please. So and then we have 3 of these. So here's how we're going to do this. The first person who takes off all their clothes and runs 10 times around. No, I'm just kidding. First of all, if you truly think this is going to make your life better, truly, raise your hand. Wow. Okay, actually that's fair. It wasn't every single person. How do you want to do this? Best what? The best question. Leave your hand up. So the best question, we have 3 of these, so the best questions will get the phone. And Eric, will you pick the questions? I can't even see out there. Over here?
Line up to the mics.
Yeah. Actually, that's good. Line up at the mics to ask your questions, and you'll decide if, yeah. Go ahead.
Well, can you explain a little bit on Foursquare, the genesis behind the game mechanics that you added? Because what that really allowed you to do is change consumer behavior, user behavior, and get them to check in, which is, of course, going to mean so much in the future of your business model. So if you could explain the genesis of that, that'd be great.
Yeah, so when Alex and I were working on Dodgeball at Google, we realized that Dodgeball is kind of a crappy one-player experience. If you don't have 10 friends on Dodgeball, you're not getting a lot of value out of it. And you're checking in and nothing's really happening. So the idea was, like, how do you turn check-ins into something that's fun to do just by yourself? And we figured if you could turn the city into a game, that would, that's a good part of it. So Dean and I had this idea for, we should make leaderboards for Saturday night. Like the high score board of Pac-Man should basically be high score for Saturday. And the more stuff you do, and the more people you meet up with, and the more fun that you're having, the higher you get on that list. And right before starting Foursquare, I was working at a company called Area Code that was doing game design, and really got bit by the bug of like, you can use game elements to kind of make everyday like remedial tasks more fun. And so that's where a lot of the thinking came from.
We know Google's motto, but this is a question for Chris. Is Facebook evil?
This is where you shoot lasers out of your eyes.
That's a good question. That might be a phone-winning question right there.
No, we're not.
Are you going to give him a phone?
No.
So on Sunday night, actually, 60 Minutes ran a piece with Marty Cooper about the original cell phone call I made right here in New York City. I think he was 82 right now, and you guys are some of the leading minds on mobile devices that Arrington has brought together today. And he asked you guys the question a few minutes ago: what is your dream phone? Holograms, everything.
And it was an awful set of answers.
It was an answer that sounded to me really not innovative. To be honest,
they're still asleep. That's the problem.
Well, and Marty Cooper, who's 82, said, "I want a phone that's embedded in my ear that I talk to." Is he senile, or are you guys not innovative? And I'm not being rude. I honestly just hope that there's more coming.
You just want a phone.
I consider myself a product person, and so I think it's a lot of fun to look 10 years out, but that's not ultimately useful for what I have to go back and do today and tomorrow and 6 months from now. So you look at realistically, what's going to be in the new iPhone, what are going to be in devices that are out by the end of the year, and how do we structure our product and engineering teams to get there? Like to sit around and fantasize about, hey, what's the future? Yeah, I'd love that. I want to be able to think my thoughts and text them out and blah blah blah. Like I'd love to have that conversation. It's just realistically, we always have to think like 6, 8, 12 months ahead, and really where we can be with that, and what changes we can make.
And I actually thought Chris's answer was great. I mean, the kinds of things that he talked about, where your phone starts to act more like a personal agent centered around you, the individual, that it knows where you're at, it gives you contextually aware information, and that's clearly where we're going. I think what happens, though, is people overestimate what's possible in a year and kind of underestimate what's really going to happen in 5 years. And as Dennis points out, the question, because we're responsible for products, we sometimes give answers about things that we're executing on versus the longer term vision, which I think is incredibly awesome.